What's up, everybody, and welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is a Black Diamond video that I'm doing on Beyonce's new album, Renaissance. For me personally, I love this new album. It's number one right now, and I must say Beyonce did it again. In this album, she's paying homage to all of the artists and cultures that inspired her to be the artist that she is today. And I, for one, am enjoying all of the songs on this album. So far, my favorites are I love Break My Soul. That's my favorite one. Break My Soul, that's like a spiritual thing for me, and I really enjoy that song. I love Summer Renaissance. I love Cozy. I also love Pure Honey, Miss Honey. I love it. And I also love Church Girl as well. So those are like so far some of my favorite songs, but I love every single song on the track. You can just press play and just let the thing play. And I miss having albums like that where I can just let it play and just get my life. Like, I literally be playing the album while I'm cleaning or I'm cooking or whatever it is I'm doing in the house. That album just be giving me life. And half the time I'm up here dancing while I'm either cooking or cleaning. Like, yeah, I'm getting my life. Because it's a celebration of artistry. It's a celebration of culture. It's a celebration of innovation. And I really love this work. But I'm not only talking about how great the album is, and I'm a huge fan. I'm also going to talk about the controversy, because there's been a lot of controversy that has come out with this album, and people have been really trying to come for Beyonce in multiple different ways. And I'm going to be talking about some of them. Like, one of them is Kelis, because Kelis was upset that Beyonce had sampled Milkshake with with her song Energy on the album. And mainly, she didn't really sample Kelis' voice. She sampled the beat that was created by Chad and Pharrell of the Neptunes. But Kelis was really upset and went to social media and pretty much said that this was thievery and that Beyonce talks about women empowerment, but she didn't even have the audacity to call to let me know what was going on. I had to find out on social media with everybody else. And my whole thing is that she actually did credit Kelis on the album, but Kelis was pissed that she used her song and that she didn't reach out to her. But I know that Beyonce, I'm sorry. I don't know why it came out Beyonce. Forgive me, y'all. Beyonce is a strategic businesswoman, and she would not put nothing out unless she got it cleared. And the party that could clear that track would have been Chad and Pharrell, because they own the beat. And not only that, they own the publishing, which Kelis has every right to be upset, because they railroaded her out of her publishing. Because her, along with Pharrell and Chad, was supposed to have equal publishing of all the music she did with them when she was signed under their production label. But they railroaded her, and she doesn't get any publishing nor royalties off of her own music, which is fucked up. But this is common in the industry with a lot of these production deals as well as record deals, where the artist gets swindled out of what is rightfully theirs. So Kelis has every right to be upset. But I think her being upset with Beyonce was more on a personal level, and I think that's why she went so hard against Beyonce. We already know why she's mad at Pharrell and Chad, because they stole from her. And she feels that Beyonce is perpetuating that narrative by her using her track without consulting her. But personally, I felt, Kelis could have used this to her advantage to flip it where she could have made this work for her in another way. But Kelis is Kelis. She's an artist, and she's sensitive about her shit. And she said that. So when she feels crossed or feels slighted, she gonna speak on it, and she don't give a damn about flipping it or anything like that. So Beyonce has decided to remove the sample from the song. And people were saying that, are you happy now? you just had to make a fuss out of it. Because I really felt the way that they was coming for Kelis, as far as the Beehive, I thought that was fucked up. Because Kelis had legitimate reasons on why she felt the way she felt. And it wasn't her personally trying to attack Beyonce. She was attacking how Beyonce did it. Because she said that Beyonce had sampled her before. But it's like, she didn't even have the audacity to even talk to me, to let me know what was happening. I had to find out on social media. So she really felt slighted and felt disrespected. And Kelis has every right to feel the way she feels. And she also kind of got backlash when they were like coming for her. It's like, are you happy now? You just had to offend Beyonce and all of that. She's like, Beyonce will be fine. She has Satan on her side. I was like, okay, bitch, you are really fucking shady right now. For some odd reason, people want to say that Beyonce worships the devil. But personally, I don't get that energy from her. I think she's spiritual, and she now has a different approach. She's not, what you would call religious, but more of a spiritual minded person. And I think that was revealed with the song Church Girl, which I'm going to get into because the Kojic really came for her in this one. So yeah, you had that situation with Kelis. And Beyonce has decided to remove the sample. But personally, Kelis has every axe to grind against the Neptunes because what they did to her was fucked up. Hands down. Next, I'm going to talk about another person that came out about the album was Monica Lewinsky. And this is going all the way back to the song Petition back in 2014, where Monica, even back then, said that she felt some kind of way about Beyonce using that line, Monica Lewinsky all on my gown. She felt some kind of way that her name was used in that regard. And we have to be honest with this. Monica Lewinsky was abused. She was taken advantage of. She was abused by a man of power. She was only in her 20s where this man was in his 50s. And she got caught up, in the glare of it all. And eventually, when it really came all boiled, when the whole situation got exposed that he did have sexual relations with that woman, she got more of the backlash than he did. She got slut shamed. I remember when I was in high school, I was at an assembly. I think it was either my freshman or sophomore year. We were at this assembly, and it was a assembly talking to us young people about life, about sex, about all these things. And all of a sudden, the guy who was doing the presentation, he was like, so we need to have discussions about oral sex because we're doing it. Oral sex is a real thing. And then he puts a picture on the projector of Monica Lewinsky. The whole place erupted, myself included. We went crazy. And she's been used as an online joke. Like my mom, she used to tell this joke, like on the back of the $20 bill, I think it's the White House. And she said that she would say this joke like, hey, look at the back of the $20 bill. You can see Monica Lewinsky's head. And people would be looking at the bill like, I don't see. She's like, no, you got to look closer. You can see Monica Lewinsky in that window over there. And they'll be looking at the bill like, I don't see. She's like, oh, let me see it. Oh, damn, she's on her knees again. That was like that whole situation really affected her in the worst way. Yeah, we gagged on it, but it was traumatic for her. I mean, she even contemplated suicide during that time because her whole image and life literally got flipped, and she trusted somebody who betrayed her. When she started to work at the Pentagon. I can sympathize with Monica because Monica Lewinsky was used, and she was taken advantage of. And when I say abused, she was pretty much abused sexually and emotionally. And she was a person that grew up, being bullied and not fitting in. And finally, the most powerful man in the world wants you. Of course, you're gonna, cave into that shit. Especially if you're not mentally and emotionally strong enough. And she was vulnerable, and she was taken advantage of for her vulnerability. So I understand her plight, but sadly, that's the narrative she's stuck with. And you can thank the media for that, because the media is known. Once you put something out in media, it never goes away. It always comes back. Even years later, somehow it comes back. Even though you've moved past it, even though you've grown past it, it still comes back. And personally, I understand why she feels the way she feels, but trust, to this point, that your name ain't getting removed from that song, girl. It's just not. Because, for one, that was back in 2014, and she did stress it in 2014 how she felt, and that she should remove her name and should replace it with "He Bill Clinton all over my gown," because Bill Clinton was the one that was shooting. Bang, bang. So, I get where she's coming with in regards to that, but it's like, okay, now, because the controversy thing is out, oh, let me put myself back in it again, and let's, like, yeah, you should remove my name from your song. And it's crazy, and this is something that unfortunately Monica has to live with for the rest of her life. That she was the mistress of the president, and she got slutted out, unfortunately. And now that slut narrative always comes to play every time you hear the name Monica Lewinsky. And it's unfortunate. But yeah, we had that going on. Then we also had Diane Warren, the iconic songwriter Diane Warren. She wrote for the likes of, Toni Braxton, Whitney Houston, Monica, many artists. She has put her pen to, and she writes amazing ballads. She's a great songwriter. And I forgot, and there was like one of the songs on Beyonce's album, because she's done a lot of sampling, which is an art form, where you take a piece of music and you create a new body of music with it. There was one song, it was 24 writers on it that got credited. And she's like, well, how does a song have 24 writers? Really, Diane? You've been in the industry long enough. You know what was going on. And The Dream, who does production as well as writing with Beyonce, he read her down. He came out swinging. Like, there's an art called sampling, where we take old music, and everyone who have written and produced, they still get credit, because now their piece of music is now being used on another piece of music that has their own writers and contributors, their own writers and producers and contributors to the piece, and we're all in it together. So, and she's like, well, and then like, because the Beehive came for her. And she was like, well, I'm sorry. It was just an honest question. I wasn't trying to be shady. Well, Diane, if you weren't trying to be shady, then why'd you do it on social media? And why didn't you contact Beyonce directly? Because you can contact Beyonce directly. You're both in the industry together. You definitely both know of each other. So if it wasn't shady, why did you do it on Twitter? So Diane learned real quick, when you come for people on Twitter, people will clap back and get in that ass. Girl, what is going on out there? So if y'all hear the sound in the background, there's some little girl out here screaming in the hallway. Welcome to my life. So we got that going on. Then you had Kaya, my neck, my back. That Kaya, formerly of, the Queen's Court, the segment that she had on social media with T.S. Madison. Well, she's still doing it, but doing it under her own, and I think it's called the gag order, I think. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but she roasts Beyonce and T.S. Madison in her rant, pretty much calling, T.S. Madison a porn hoe, and saying that Beyonce is possessed by the devil, and maybe that's the reason why she's doing this album, because Jay-Z got her in the studio so he can go fuck more hoes. And she really was going in. And this made T.S. Madison clap back and was like, girl, what the fuck you talking about? People are still seeing a chiropractor because they neck and they back is hurt, because they neck and they back is still hurt because of your ass. I was like, oh shit. And she says that because T.S. Madison appears on the song Cozy with Beyonce, and that song is trending big time. So she says, "Oh yeah, but thank you for helping Cozy to go trending, bitch." And then she's like, "I don't even talk about that hoe. I don't even mention that hoe. But yet my my name is still in this hoe's mouth." And then she's like, you talking about I'm a porn hoe and everything, but you still got all my stuff under your shit. Why don't you delete it? Because I ain't got nothing of you on my shit." So I was just like, man, that caused like some controversy, because she decided to shade not just Beyonce, but also T.S. Madison, because it was a nasty fallout between Kaya and T.S. Madison, and it happened on social media. But we see that T.S. Madison her career has risen, and I've actually met her twice in person, and she's very warm and very friendly, and I actually enjoyed meeting her twice when she came to DC. So I'm actually proud of TS. Like, she's really taken her career to the next level, where she has her own TV show. She's appeared on multiple different mainstream shows and publications, and now she's on a track with Beyonce. I'm like, that's what's up. T.S. Madison has definitely come a long way. And to actually see her career continue to flourish and see her continue to grow, it's phenomenal to see, because I'm all about Black excellence. I'm all about seeing us win and us reaching new heights of success and prosperity, because I want that for myself, and I love seeing others achieve it as well. So now I'm really gonna get into it, because I did touch on this situation in my church foolery video, but it's about Bishop Patrick Wotton, of the Kojic, which is now being head by Pastor Sheard. He's now the head. Twinkie's brother-in-law, Karen's husband, he is now the head of the Kojic. He is the head bishop, and you have other bishops who are actually a part of other churches that make up the board, that make up the council. And Bishop Wotton is a part of that council. It's even said that he was also a part of that council where they reprimanded Dr. Maddie Moss Clark when she appeared on the Grammys singing with her daughters. And pretty much from that point on, she still supported her daughters, but she no longer performed with them in public anymore. And, so you still got that neoconservative culture within the Kojic. And while he was doing a sermon, Bishop Patrick Wotton decided to trash Beyonce and said that this song, Church Girl, is of the devil, and how she gonna sample one of our gospel greats, Twinkie Clark, and do her a disservice by putting her music with that junk she created. And he literally read Beyonce for the dogs. And I'm just sitting here looking at this like, you totally missed the whole concept of church girl. Because let's keep it real. There are a lot of church girls who on Saturday night, they be dropping it like a thotty, but then they go to church and get their spiritual, they get their spiritual connection. They go to church to praise the Lord and to thank the Lord. But Saturday night, they was dropping it like a thotty up in the club and probably was getting turned out, by whoever it is she was dealing with. It was telling the truth about church girls. That some of these church girls deny their naughty side to appear wholesome and honest and approachable, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing the word here, but acceptable. There we go. I love the Lord, and the Lord loves me, and the Lord loves you too. They expect church girls to have that image, but church girls are human, and church girls have desires, and church girls, a lot of times on Friday, Saturday night, they turning up, they dropping it like a thotty, getting it in. But then they come to church and they shouting and they stomping just like they were in the church, just like they were in the club the night before. But they're doing it for the Lord. They're doing it to praise God. That was the whole message. And Twinkie said nothing negative. She actually thanked Beyonce for sampling her music. Because now the Clark sisters, along with Twinkie as a writer and producer, are now being recognized by a newer generation. See, Twinkie know the game. Twinkie knows that if somebody samples your music, that gives new light to you and new light to your work, to a newer generation that may not even know who the Clark sisters are. Now, the Clark sisters are legends. Just like just like the Pace singers, like the Pace sisters, like they are gospel legends. They are iconic. Even Twinkie kind of got reprimanded by the Kojic when she did "You Are the Sunshine," which was a sample from Stevie Wonder, and they got backlash because the song was being played in rotation at Studio 54. So the Kojic is known to do this. They are very conservative. Gospel is supposed to be for us and not for nobody else. And everything is in-house. Even relationships, you have to date and courtship someone within the church. Like, it's that conservative. I even had some family members who were part of the Kojic. So I pretty much know from the inside how things are run. That it's just how it's a very conservative blueprint of how they run their church. But I think with Bishop Sheard at the helm, he's trying to make it more progressive to a degree. And I'm pretty sure Pastor Sheard is going to have that sit down with him, saying all this. Because he caused like this uproar and I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to say how I feel and all of that. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But just know that whatever you say and what you feel, if you get some backlash, be able to take that as well. Because I personally feel that, okay, you don't have to like the song. You don't have to accept it. But to pretty much go in the pulpit and rip Beyonce down like that I did not agree with. And on top of it, Twinkie celebrates it because Twinkie know that those church girls exist. We know that they exist. You're the one who's trying to build this fake narrative that church girls are supposed to be perfect and wholesome. They're not. Church girls can be evil. Church girls can be thotty. Church girls can cuss you out. And the same thing goes for church boys. We're not... It's all about being honest. Because, as I said, Beyonce is very spiritual. And people will take that notion... I mean, I don't know what spirituality she practices. I mean, personally... She's entitled to practice whatever spirituality that feels comfortable for her. But I can tell that she's a very spiritual person. And being in spirituality, you have to be authentic and honest. You have to be good. You have to be honest with your good, your bad, and your ugly. And, in the concepts of religion, they so harp on the good that they try to act like the bad doesn't exist. And I just think the reason why he's rejecting Church Girl, because it's progressive. And the Kojic is anti-progressive, as to when they came after Twinkie years ago with You Are the Sunshine, and when they came after their mother, Dr. Maddie Mars Clark, for performing at the Grammys with her daughters, even though they were performing gospel and they were fully clothed. And she got read down and told to lie down, and pretty much threatened her position in the church because she was on the Grammys performing with her daughters. That to me still bothers me because y'all shouldn't have said nothing to her because she didn't disrespect the church. She didn't respect herself. She didn't disrespect herself and didn't disrespect anybody else. She was sharing the music with the world. And why is it that a lot of these churchgoers think that gospel music is just supposed to be for the church? The gospel is supposed to be shared with the world. That's exactly what the Lord wanted all of the prophets to do, is to share the love of God with everyone, even the ones who were lost or the ones who've never had a connection to him. I mean, personally, Church Girl, if you listen to the song, it tells the true narrative of humanity. That just because the church girl dropping a lot of Gothati doesn't mean she doesn't love God. It doesn't mean she doesn't have a connection to him. It doesn't mean that he doesn't bless her. So, personally, I think, Bishop Sheard is going to have a sit down with Mr. Wooten. And shout out to King Jives and Larry Reed for highlighting this, because when I saw it, I was just like, oh, no, he did not. Oh, he really just feeling himself talking about Beyonce. And then I also know that he has a gay son that he has banished, or more like disengaged from because of his son's sexual preference. Which, I'm like, where's the God in that? You're supposed to love your children unconditionally. The Lord bless you with children, not that they follow your path, but then they find their own, and regardless, even if you don't agree, you still have unconditional love for them. So that's interesting too, because as I said, the Kojic is very conservative. It's a very conservative environment, and it kind of borderlines cultish for me, because I'm a cult survivor. I will share that, and in due time, I will be doing a video that I will tell my story. I will share like what inspired me to become a YouTube content creator, some of my trials, tribulations, and triumphs. But then also, what my goals are for the future. So I'm definitely going to do a video to tell my story, because I want you guys to get to know me, Kenneth Stallings, aka your boy Kenny. So that's what I have about this. I think it's a great album. Salute to Beyonce. Salute to everyone that was involved in this piece, and that there are 2 more parts to this, and I'm looking to see what Beyonce does next. So until next time, everybody, take care.